Part 1. Suffering is optional.
Many of us start life full of hope to find love and success. Unfortunately, it isn't long before we find ourselves mired in life's pressures and feeling flat. Perhaps you also feel confused and lost in life. That's where I was, dreading work, upset with my spouse, annoyed with the kids, and let down by the world. All of this with not a clue of how I could find joy and inner peace. All I was sure about was that whatever I was doing wasn't working. Have you ever found yourself there? You're not the only one. Here's how it works. Let's begin by answering what is suffering and what does alignment have to do with it. First off, this is what I mean by suffering. Here's how the dictionary sums it up. To feel pain or distress, to tolerate or endure. Here is my definition. Suffering is when we keep working to make things better, but find they continue going downhill. This is very similar to the punishment Zeus gave the Greek god Sisyphus. He was told to roll a large boulder to the top of a hill. And as you may guess, when he arrived there, the stone rolled down the other side. As far as I know, he's still at it. Sound familiar? You work to make a relationship better, and it continues to deteriorate.
As strange as what follows may sound, suffering is optional. Why? Because something makes it happen. If we can change the cause of our suffering, it will stop. What causes us to suffer may look like our boss, our spouse, or what happens around us, but I have found that they cannot make us suffer. I've come to realize that suffering is an inside job and has nothing to do with outside people or events. That we are in control of our suffering gives hope for change. Here's some upbeat news. We can stop our suffering, and what follows is how to do it. Let's begin to unravel suffering by checking out its cause. Our first undertaking is to appreciate alignment. A tree is an example of alignment. By that I mean its expression matches exactly with what it is, a tree. It is a tree, and it looks and behaves like a tree. When we take a walk in the woods, we can feel how peaceful trees are. Storms may come and go, but trees remain peaceful. How can we kiss our suffering goodbye and find that degree of inner peace? The same place the tree found it, through alignment. That is where peace and quiet are found. Car tires are another perfect example. They function best when they are aligned, with all tires heading in the same direction. When one tire is out of alignment, the car is continuously pulled to one side or the other. Misalignment abrades the tires as well as wearing down the driver, who must make constant corrections to stay on course. Here's how we function when we are in alignment. We are like railroad tracks, with one track representing how we act, in perfect alignment with the other track, what we are. The results are a quiet ride with great contentment and joy. Unfortunately, we often end up acting quite differently. When how we act moves out of alignment with what we are, a painful crash awaits us. So how do we operate when we are out of alignment? This is important because the gap created by the misalignment of our actions and our reality is the mother of our emotional pain. The greater the misalignment, the greater the agony of stress, worry, and anger. To better understand the solution to suffering's emotional pain, let's take a closer look at what we are and how we act. What we are. I realize that many of us have been told many times what we are. But I am not talking about what other people think about us. I'm talking about the intrinsic, indispensable ideas that identify our very being. Many think that love is what we are. Most people will readily agree that they want to be treated with kindness, caring, and forgiveness, and that they want to be kind, caring, and forgiving to others. That is love. We don't create the love we are. We are born that way. But we do have a choice on whether we express it or not. Now let's focus on how we act. Simply put, our behavior is our plan to win love. We want all the love we can possibly attract. What we are and how we act are after the same thing, love. One wants to be it and the other wants to find it. The question becomes, do we take our misalignment to the shop and get it fixed, or continue to buy new tires in an attempt to solve the problem? In other words, keep trying new ways of acting. We have all tried changing the tires, and I am not here to sell you more tires. Instead, we will learn to become aware of how to adjust the cause of our misalignment and ways to live in alignment. In other words, we are going to understand what pushes our actions out of alignment and what brings our actions back into alignment. The answer to those two questions are keys to ending emotional suffering. When our self-expression aligns with the love we are, we will be on our way to finding inner peace. If a tree can do it, so can we. But to find alignment, we first need to understand the tremendous power of conditions and beliefs.
Before we move into Section 2, a quick summary. 1. We are love, caring, kindness, and forgiving. 2. We don't create the love we are. We are born that way. 3. The misalignment of the love we are and how we act causes great emotional pain. In Part 2, we find out how conditions and beliefs affect our lives, where they come from, and how the brain's early development sets the stage for our life to follow.